Hello everyone and welcome back to TSN, or the SASUKE Nerds. So I posed a question for you guys on TSN's community tab, as well as our new Twitter page, which is as follows. Who do you think has something to prove in SASUKE 40? And it's safe to say that you guys delivered. A lot of the responses were your usual names, and we will of course be going over them in this video, but some of the picks you guys gave me are very interesting. The most interesting of which I will talk about at the end of the video, so please stay tuned and watch until the end. In the meantime, however, buckle up and grab your SASUKE spray, because today I'll be listing a dozen or so competitors who really do have something to prove in SASUKE 40. These competitors may have different reasons for having something to prove. Some may be veterans of the show who are looking to get their careers back on track after a streak of disappointing runs. Others may be promising rising stars who need a big break, as well as competitors who may be aging and SASUKE 40 could prove to be their last chance to do well in the show. Let's get into it. Shunsuke Nagasaki was by far the most common pick for people, and I don't blame them at all. Nagasaki has been on a losing streak for a while now, as he has failed the first stage for the last 4 tournaments now, 3 of which occurred on the Dragon Glider. It feels like a long time ago now that Nagasaki was genuinely considered to be a top 5 threat in the show, but with how his performances have been looking recently, that is very much not the case anymore. At 35, Nagasaki is one of the older competitors I will be talking about today, and SASUKE 40 will likely be his best and possibly last chance of making a comeback here. And here's the thing. We all know that a good run is still left in him. Nagasaki is one of the most naturally gifted contestants this show has ever seen and likely will see. The way he came out of seemingly nowhere back in the mid-2000s as a teenager was absolutely incredible. What was even more impressive is that after a 6-year hiatus from SASUKE 20 to SASUKE 29, Nagasaki returned to the show and looked like he had never left, clearing stage 1 in 6 of his next 7 appearances. Keep in mind, this was a completely different era and a completely different course. But Nagasaki's main issue was the fact that he simply does not put in the work that other competitors at his age do. Now, while it would be a bit of an overreaction to just say he doesn't train, I mean, look at his training area. It's nowhere near as robust as Yusuke's or Matsuda's. And I also don't really blame him for not being as dedicated to the show, as he does have a family. But Nagasaki cannot ride off of his natural ability for that much longer, and SASUKE 40 is going to have to be the tournament where he puts all the pieces together and gets back to at least the 2nd stage. It's a matter of whether he can get over the mental block of the Dragon Glider, however. Another very common suggestion is, funnily enough, someone who is in the exact same boat as Nagasaki in his career. Hitoshi Kano's losing streak extends even further than Nagasaki's at the moment, as he has failed to get past the first stage in his last 6 tournaments. Honestly, it's kind of sad that Kano is even in this predicament to begin with. He has struggled massively with injury for most of his career now, after injuring his shoulder all the way back in SASUKE 27. He did have a period of consistency between SASUKE 28 and 31, getting to stage 3 4 times in a row, but since then, it's been stage 1 fail after stage 1 fail, with 3 more injuries to boot. However, I see more promise in Kano making a comeback than Shunsuke. Kano does train on a regular basis, and from the looks of it, he still looks very strong, especially on stage 3 obstacles. But that will count for nothing if Kano can't break the cycle and get past the first stage. And at 37, time is running out for him. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Tomohiro Kawaguchi has been, or at least was, Sasuke's number 2 competitor for over half a decade now. His career stats since the SASUKE Rising era have been nothing short of impressive for someone who is written off as a one-tournament wonder. From SASUKE 30 to his most recent clearance, SASUKE 36, he made the 3rd stage a staggering 6 times in 7 appearances. But ever since SASUKE 37, Kawaguchi has failed the warped wall every single time. And you can chalk 37 and 39 down to the rain all you want, but he had 0 excuses for his 38 timeout. I found it baffling at first that someone as consistent as Kawaguchi could have had so much trouble on an obstacle that he has cleared so many times in the past. But at 41 years of age, the previously ageless Kawaguchi is finally starting to show signs of slowing down. And while recent tournaments have shown that age is just a number for some of these competitors, with Kawaguchi's recent stumbles in stage 1, 40 is going to have to be the tournament where he reverses this decline, otherwise I'm not sure it'll ever happen. Although nowhere near as old or experienced as our last 3, Naoyuki Araki absolutely has something to prove in SASUKE 40. Ever since his breakout run in SASUKE 36, Araki has not had the performance level that we would have expected from him in this point in his career. In his last 3 appearances, All Araki has to show for it is one Stage 2 appearance, in which he got stuck on the rolling log and timed out on the reverse conveyor. And while he absolutely has more than enough time in his career to make another impressive run, being the youngest of the Morimoto Sedai, with how struggling competitors such as Kota Sakuma and Shogo Ugajin have simply disappeared from the show after early promise, Araki could very well be the next on the chopping block if he doesn't pick up his performances. Nobody likes a one-tournament wonder after all. Continuing with the Morimoto Sedai theme, we have Keitaro Yamamoto. Okay, I know that he kind of proved himself in Sasuke 39 already by making it to the 3rd stage after 8 years of trying, but hear me out. I don't feel that failing an obstacle as suited to a rock climber as the Sidewinder constitutes as acceptable for someone as accomplished and full of potential as Keitaro is. I mean, for God's sake, he is an unlimited cliffer. Yamamoto absolutely has the skill and potential to have a really deep run, but his problems with the 2nd stage and lack of experience with the 3rd are what really holds him back for me. And as the course gets more and more difficult, the opportunities for Keitaro to have a deep run, coupled with the fact that tournaments only come out once a year, at 31 years old, Keitaro's opportunities are going to shorten. If he can get back to the 3rd stage in 40, who knows how far he can go, but he'll have to get there first. Ayano Oshima has been touted as Sasuke's best Japanese female competitor for the longest time now. Certainly feels that way at least. However, despite her best efforts, in 5 attempts she has yet to clear the 1st stage, with 3 of those being warped wall timeouts. Director Masato Inui is obviously banking on Ayano to be the first Japanese woman to clear the 1st stage in almost 25 years. Especially as arguably better skilled females such as Hikari Izumi have been consistently getting snubbed for appearances on Sasuke. But there's only so many chances that he could surely give Ayano to clear before he starts looking elsewhere for a female clear, right? As female representatives from all over the world are impressing year after year in their respective shows, with, for example, Stephanie Edelman making it all the way to Stage 3 in Ninja Warrior Germany last year, Japan seems to be way behind the curve, as Sasuke is solely banking on one woman, Oshima, to bring in results. This is further justified by Oshima's performance in Ninja Warrior Germany's Foreign Nations special back in 2019. Anyway, if Oshima is to have any chance of clearing on Sasuke 40, she needs to improve on her warped wall technique. This is her best chance of clearing, and with the weather being good for Stage 1 this time, there are no more excuses if she fails to do it this year. Ryuichi Sukada was previously considered to be one of Sasuke's most promising and best performing celebrity competitors. While nowhere near as good as competitors such as Kenji Darvish were in this era, Sukada still cleared the 1st stage twice in a row in Sasuke 33 and 34, which is impressive in itself. However, he is currently embarking on a 5-tournament streak of 1st stage failures, and the possibility of him being able to correct that is fading with every tournament. At 35, he is one of the older celebrity competitors in the field, and with the emergence of competitors such as Hikaru Iwamoto, Rene Sugeta, and Hayate Kajihara, Sukada will desperately want to impress in 40 if he wants to keep up with his protege Iwamoto, or he'll risk being another footnote in the show's history. While it may be unfair to say that a competitor who has only made 2 appearances to date has something to prove in this tournament, Yusuke Goto deserves being here. Goto is only 26 years old, but he has already made quite the splash in the Sasuke community for his likability and obvious potential to become Sasuke's next breakout star. However, things have yet to click for him. In his 2 appearances, he has yet to progress any further than the salmon letter Kudari. And while you could argue that for someone just coming onto the show, a 1st stage clear in your sophomore season is impressive. But we all know that Goto is absolutely capable of so much more. As stated previously, Inui has had a cutthroat attitude towards promising competitors who fail to get immediate good results. And my fear is that if Goto in the next 1 or maybe 2 tournaments fails to get them, and fails to get to, say, the 3rd stage, the same could happen to him. There are only so many times that TBS can milk the fact that he met Yamada as a kid. Sasuke 40 is absolutely, definitively, the last chance that clearing Stage 1 is even a possibility for Shingo Yamamoto. In recent tournaments, we have seen Shingo have most of the building blocks to make a clear happen, speed being his strongest. He always gets through obstacles in a good time, and he hasn't shown signs of slowing down, but his primary issue is, of course, his technique. Shingo's technique for the past, actually you could argue his entire career, has been virtually non-existent. His trampoline technique especially has been laughable in recent tournaments. And if that doesn't convince you, he was lucky not to fail the silk slider in Sasuke 39 after slipping on the dismount, even though he actually did. The point is, Shingo is almost 50 now, and if he doesn't clear in 40, he never clears again. Simple as that. Let's move on. Now it's time for the spicy ones. Yuji Urashiharu's career rebirth has been one of the most compelling story arcs the show has ever and will ever see. From seemingly having his career be over after his embarrassing rolling hill fail in Sasuke 33, Yuji embarked on an unbelievable run of form. From Sasuke 34 to Sasuke 38, Yuji cleared stage 1 4 times and stage 2 twice, with Sasuke 36 and 37 being among the best Yuji has ever had in his career. Sasuke 36 saw Yuji become the oldest competitor to ever clear any variation of the cliffhanger at age 40, before failing the vertical limit. The next year, he broke his own record and made it all the way to the pipe slider before breaking 15-year-old Mi's heart in two. However, his performances have once again been on a decline since Sasuke 38. He timed out just inches from the second stage buzzer in 38, but his Sasuke 39 run was worrying. Yuji did not have the speed or the technique to clear at any stage during his run. And honestly, even if there was no rain, I did not see Yuji clearing stage 1 in 39. Yuji has been fighting a vicious war with age for years now, and age is looking like it is finally winning the battle with the 44-year-old Yuji. Sasuke 40 is the tournament where he needs to prove everyone wrong and turn the tide, because if he doesn't, I don't see him lasting another few years in this show. He's threatened to retire before after declining results, and I can see him doing it again. Ryo Matachi is another competitor who has recently embarked on a comeback trail. After a 5-tournament streak of failing the first stage, Ryo battled back in Sasuke 36 to take second place in the tournament, falling inches from the pipe slider in the third stage. He has 3 first stage clears and 2 second stage clears in his last 4 tournaments, and it does truly look like Ryo is back, although it's arguable if he's even at his best. Ryo has proved that he can get far again, but the big question is if he can keep up this performance level. And 40 will be definitely a big test for the 33-year-old. If he fails to do well again in 40, I fear that Ryo's comeback may just be seen as a period of inconsistency. After almost 3 years on the sidelines with an Achilles tendon injury, Jun Sato is back in Sasuke. But this tournament will be absolutely crucial for the 31-year-old to get back to business. The amount of pressure on Jun to impress is unlike any time in his career. He currently holds a 10-tournament first stage clear streak, and if he clears stage 2 in 40, he will break the all-time record for consecutive third stage appearances with an unprecedented 8 in a row, the current record being held by Toshihiro Takeda. But there are obstacles in his way. An Achilles tendon injury is a really heavy-hitting one, and questions have been raised on if it will affect Jun's speed, because speed is literally Jun's primary skill. Jun will hope that being away from the show for 2 years hasn't made him rusty, so that he can keep both of these streaks alive. And finally, we have the one that I think will divide you guys in the comments the most. It's going to be Yoshiyuki Yamamoto. Yamamoto's meteoric rise in Sasuke has given the Black Tigers the legitimacy they have been searching for years at this point. 3 appearances, 3 stage 3 runs, 3 consecutive fastest clears on stage 2, absolutely incredible. Any competitor in any era would kill for a start like that, but Yoshiyuki's main issue is how late he started his career. Sure, he's still only 30 years old, but if Sasuke continues to be a once-in-a-year event, Yoshiyuki's opportunities to get as far as he did will start to shorten. He needs to prove in Sasuke 40 that he can live up to his unlimited potential, as other than Yusuke Morimoto, Yoshiyuki is probably our best chance at a new winner. He just needs to put all the pieces together, and quickly. And that is all the competitors I have for now, but what do you think? Did I miss anyone? Who else do you think has something to prove in Sasuke 40? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Sasuke Nerds for more ninja content like this. Peace out, y'all.